Ladies and gentlemen, you read the title of this video correctly. In 2014, Magnus Carlsen and Bill Gates played a chess game on live Norwegian television. The game was fun, very dynamic and exciting one, and in this video, I'm going to first show you the live television footage, but I have put a chessboard on the bottom left-hand corner, so you can see the game as it goes on, you can listen to the banter, and then I will analyze the game for you afterward. NRK, please do not copyright strike me. Cool? Sounds good. I'll see you in a bit. So as it turns out, we will actually not be getting a live transmission with a board in the bottom left-hand corner because the Norwegian television channel has a copyright claim on it automatically. They don't even have to do it manually. I tried to upload the footage, it was muted, I provided commentary and a board, doesn't matter, hit my video, wouldn't let me post it, wouldn't let me monetize it. So instead I'm gonna link it in the description, you can watch it on your own time, I will just show you the game between Bill Gates and Magnus Carlsen separately. So it seems like they gave the players 30 seconds versus 2 minutes, which I don't know if that's that fair. I feel like they should have maybe given Bill 5, but you know, it's a television show. Maybe they had to just kind of get moving. They didn't want to play the chess for too long. Magnus only has 30 seconds for the entire game, which I gotta tell you is not easy. Listen, Bill opens the best way with the move e4, obviously best by test. And Magnus plays knight c6, which is an interesting first move. Like, anytime a very good chess player is poised in a situation or a question of you have to win as fast as possible, it's very interesting to see what they're going to play. Like, Magnus is not going to play e5 or c5. He can't really anticipate what his opponent is going to do or how good Bill Gates is. But so far, obviously, Bill Gates, you know, doing everything right. And now Magnus plays d5. The reason Magnus does the Scandinavian in this move order, you know, because this is the Scandinavian defense, he does it in this move order because in order to win fast, he has to get his most powerful piece out. And the Scandinavian defense is such an opening with black that lets you get very, very quick development, like very quick piece play. And the only way to really get this 0.9 that the computer is talking about is to play in a very particular way with white. Like knight c3, and then developing the bishop, and then developing, you know, like this, and so on. The arrows don't want to disappear for some reason. Instead of that, Bill does this. So that's fine. I mean, that's bishop d3 is actually not a bad move. Position's kind of in the balance. But you don't need to guard central pawns, right? Like, oftentimes, newer players, newbies at chess, they kind of like, they forget their pawns can actually do the dirty work. They don't actually just have to be defended. A lot of you do this. Like, I remember a very legendary story teaching a kid, and the kid played f4. I didn't teach the kid. There was a story of a kid getting taught, and the kid played f4. Opponent went here, and the kid was like, well, I'm not going to take. I'm going to go here and then guard my pawn. But after take, the kid got mated. So, you know, it's one of these things. And the same thing happens here, right? Like, you don't need to guard the center pawn. It's not bad. It's not as bad as the other situation, right? And notice that Magnus actually doesn't take. Like, there's a very good chance that this is a completely reasonable move. Magnus goes knight f6 instead. And for Bill to prolong the game here as long as possible, he should probably go e5. He should just try to force Magnus's pieces back, defend the center, keep the position closed. But now Bill does this. And so now the issue is he's put his bishop on a square that's kind of in the way of his own pieces. His next move is great. This is a great move. And Magnus here does something very smart. I mean, he's got barely 20 seconds, right, to win this game. He knows that Bill, as a new player, whatever, I don't know what Bill's strength is probably going to castle the king. Because that's like what you're taught. You're like, oh, I can't finish my development yet, so I got to castle my king. So he goes here. Great move. Not the best move. But he's thinking that Bill is going to be playing on the principles of the game. So he's going to castle. The best move for Bill would have been to immediately go swarm that weakness. Very tough to guard that pawn. Almost impossible. Magnus would need to play knight d5 or just, I don't know, just literally sacrifice the rook. Like, if this move happened, we are looking at a completely different video. But Bill's like, I'm going to castle. And now Magnus again does something smart. He doesn't immediately go here. Why? Because if this pressure leads to this move, black does not have an attack anymore. Losing this knight is not going to land black in a good situation. But losing the bishop instead of the knight will. Magnus realizes that this plan is not great, but likely. Bill is going to play the move h3, and that is going to be his anchor into the position. See, Magnus is completely fine. Let's say, like, this is not what he played in the game, but Magnus is completely fine getting the queen and the knight here, because again, he needs to win fast. That is what he needs to do. He has to go there as fast as possible. So if we back up to the move bishop g4, and now h3, the best move for black here, the best move is to play bishop takes knight. The reason why this is the best move is because black damages white's pawn structure, and this position is strategically losing for white. Very bad position, very open king, weak pawns in all endgames. But Magnus needs to win the game like this. So he plays knight e5, and now he is completely lost. He plays knight e5 with the idea to sacrifice his bishop, which of course Bill takes. Bill kind of looked at it like, what? And sometimes, you know, you trust higher rated players. Not here. The threat here for black is to play knight takes knight and queen h2 mate, regardless of what takes back. So if you look at this position for white, you go, what actually is the problem? What's the problem? The problem is that you don't have sufficient defense of h2. Can you find it? No. You absolutely cannot defend h2. So what's the other problem? This one's very tough to understand. That's like why I'm showing you this game. You might think, oh, what can you learn in a 9-move game? You can learn anything from a 9-move game. Honestly, if you have a good enough coach, which is why you're here with me in this video, in this position, there's a second problem. The problem is that your king has no breathing room. This is one way to create breathing room, but not the right way, because you need to create breathing room to run laterally, which is why the best move here for white and the winning move is rook e1. This move wins the game for white because black has no attack anymore. Knight takes f3, queen takes f3, queen h2 check, and the king escapes. That's it. Now, of course, the game would continue, but if even for a moment black takes their foot off the gas like this, white can just immediately launch a devastating counterattack, and white's king is completely safe. Magnus plays h takes g4, knight f takes g4, and unfortunately, Bill falls kind of into the... I mean, listen, you're playing chess on TV against the best player of all time, arguably. There's no time on the clock. Bill's like, well, I took the knight, so now I gotta take his other knight. Unfortunately, knight takes e5. Ain't nobody retaking that knight. Queen h2 mate. The white king has no moves. And, I mean, listen, if you got to win a game of chess fast, Magnus did it in the best possible way. Sacrificial play, opening up the opponent's king, anticipating where he's going to put that king. But Bill did a good job. I mean, you might think, oh, 9 moves, whatever. 12 seconds, I think, like, Magnus wins in 12 seconds because he had 18 seconds at the end. It's not really what it sounds like, all right? Lasting 12 seconds is not a great thing, but lasting 12 seconds against one of the best chess players of all time in a chess game on live TV, not so bad. So, this was a fun one, and it's rare to see such massive celebrities playing, so I'm happy to cover this game. I hope you enjoyed this video. That was a super fun game. When do you get to see that? Magnus versus Bill Gates. We're gonna see Magnus versus Elon Musk one day? Let me know in the comments who you would play a chess game against if you had a choice of playing a chess game against anybody. Literally, anybody. Or maybe tell me who you would want Magnus Carlsen to face, if Magnus Carlsen could play anybody. Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video. Get out of here.